Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Free Table Gamers. I'm your host Colin here with Ashton.
Hey guys, how you doing this week?
Alright, got a couple left over from last week, then on to some new ones. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 has new info on it.
Yep, so previous reports and data mining leaks have indicated that Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 will include Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Konami is also working on a number of improvements for Master Collection Volume 1, including support for higher resolutions, controller configuration options, and more. Meanwhile, MGS3, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is in development for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. So, we got Metal Gear Solid Master Collection not too long ago. I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe. And now there's data mining
Say it
for
was like
Volume 2.
turn of the year.
Yeah, it wasn't very long ago at all.
Yeah. Which of course there's no date yet on the Volume 2. So with a grain of salt, and it's data miner, so yeah, the data's out there. But Konami could be like, oh, screw you guys, we're going to wait a little bit longer on it now.
Well, that, and with data mining, it could just be content and see that they were thinking about making a volume 2 and they'll never actually make it. So, data mining, you never know if it's actually ever going to come out or if they just had plans for it.
Yeah. So the only time they're really like set in stone is like when we covered the data miners for the Tears of the Kingdom amiibos for Ganondorf and Zelda.
Yeah, because those were officially going to be announced, so they knew they were real.
But like we said, in this case, there's potentially 5 games that got solved, but at the end of the day, if Konami still decides to stick with those 5 games and whatever, it's still up to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, take it with a grain of salt. It is just a rumor, but it is found and it does exist somewhere. It's just how long in the process it does exist in.
Yeah.
Alright. On to the next one. And this is just insane of the size of it. Not necessarily the topic itself, but how much these new disc formats in development can hold.
Yeah, so the new disc is based on a material called AIE-DDPR, which has a much higher storage density than other formats. Scientists have developed a new type of optical disc that can increase information storage capacity to the petabit level, 125 terabytes of data, or the combined storage capacity of about 15,000 DVDs. That's just crazy. So once these new discs come out, for one, I'd say the price of games will go up, physical media will go up, and two, you may not have to download your games anymore once you put your disc in, because it'll all be able to fit on the disc.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this isn't really a gaming topic, but obviously it'll affect the gaming industry.
Yeah.
So the topic itself technically wasn't a gaming topic, but like Ashton was just saying, by time it does release, and if consoles and everything decide to use this thing, that it'll pretty much be a thing in the past of actually needing it. Because from my understanding is this thing is still just the normal size of a CD, DVD, or Blu-ray disc. It's not anything bigger or anything crazy.
Just the material they're using has the capacity to hold more storage.
Yeah. And from my understanding, it seems like they basically put a CD into like a 3D printer style somehow, and it held more stuff. Even though it was already technically a 3D object, a very thin 3D object, but it was still a 3D object.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy how, DVDs and CDs have been around forever at this point, and there's coming out with new technology for a disc. Like, there's only so much to a disc, and it's crazy that they can still make new technology for a piece of plastic, essentially.
Yeah, because obviously back in the 90s, the CDs pushed out the cassettes.
Yeah.
And then, pretty much it's been a standard form of media since then, either in video games, DVDs, everything else. So, I mean, shoot, the Xbox and PlayStation still use, those type of disc.
Yeah. Yep.
But
And
I'm going to go a little bit further into it. Like I said, this wasn't technically a gaming site, even though it relates to it, but it was the University of Shanghai for Science and Technology developed a new 3D nanoscale optic disc. That's where I said it was like kind of a 3D printed situation.
yeah.
It's the same size and shape as a DVD/Blu-ray disc, yet it can hold an astonishing 1.6 petabytes of data, according to a report by Charles Q. Choi in IEEE Spectrum. How much data is that in terms that, normal people can fathom? That's about 200,000 gigabytes.
Yeah.
It's going to revolution, obviously, and then it goes on to saying that that's going to revolutionize, like you just said, with the gaming and movie industry too. Like I said, it's kind of a combined topic, but yeah, 200,000 gigabytes is what that holds. Your typical Xbox, PlayStation holds, anywhere from 500 to technically 1,000 being 1 terabyte of gigabytes.
Yeah.
Or 500 to 1,000.
So I know it'll affect the movie industry too, but I'm not exactly sure how many gigabytes a typical, say, Blu-ray movie is. Surely it's not 125 terabytes.
I didn't get that part from that article because, like I said, it wasn't gaming related, but they did have the breakdown on it. I think they said roughly that would be 14 like modern day like Marvel movies, like how they're a little bit bigger, a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
So it would hold about 14 Marvel movies in one thing.
Yeah, because obviously movies aren't as big as games are, so I knew it'd probably hold more movies than it would games. So,
I mean, it would. With the size of the games now, that would be about 14, 15 games. Because you think 5 games might get you 500 gigabyte. Well, no, never mind.
it's
I might want to
125
multiply that by,
terabytes.
yeah, 125
It
terabytes.
might get you, I mean, it depends the size of the game, but like
Yeah.
Warzone, it'll get you Warzone on a CD.
Yeah, I was thinking terabytes, my bad. I forgot it's petabytes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely going to revolutionize the gaming industry as a whole. And, memory may be a thing of the past now.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. Be able to plug and play your discs again, because we haven't seen that in 2 generations now. So,
Yeah.
and some people, I mean, younger kids have never just plug and played their games before. They've always had to download their discs. And obviously you got to download digital media too. So they've never been able to just plug and play their games. So it'd be something probably pretty mind blowing for those kids to be able to go buy a game and then put it in and play it.
You say, was the 360 and PlayStation 3 they was technically even past that point because you still had to download those games.
Not if you had the disc. I mean, towards the end you did, but at the beginning you didn't. You just plug and play.
Gotcha. I was just say because I had it towards the end of their lifespans.
The only one that I had to have an install disc for was Ghosts.
Gotcha.
So like,
I get
like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, like you just pop it in.
Yeah. I mean, even the Xbox One, you could still pop it in, but I just counted downloading in general because obviously, like I said, with the GameCube and stuff, it was literally just, like you said, it was just toss in and play.
Yeah.
But at least whenever I got my 360, even, you may not have multiple discs, but you still had to wait, enough amount of time until the game downloaded for you to be able to play it.
I didn't.
I did. It could have been my internet too, I guess.
Maybe. Because, like, you just put Black Ops 1 in and you just play it. I mean, you might have to download an update, but to play the game itself, you can skip the update. To play the game itself, you didn't have to wait.
What I'm thinking about.
Maybe the update. But if you skip the update, you can still play the game with just popping the disc in. Xbox One is when they started. The games were too big to fit on the disc, so you had to put the disc in and finish installing the game in order to play the game.
Gotcha.
So you
Yeah,
might
that's
be
probably what
thinking
I'm
about
thinking.
the update then.
Yeah. Then yeah, that makes sense then. But yeah, that would definitely be nice for that to occur. But I say that the gaming industry will, at that point, probably increase it to $80 a game at that point.
Yeah, I mean, even if they even pick it up, because I
Yeah.
mean, we've heard rumors several times that they're just going to do away with physical media, and then there's rumors that the new Xbox Series X, the revision, is coming out that's not going to have a disc drive, and when the X is the only one of the two, the S and the X, that has a disc drive, and they're, so maybe they won't even pick up this thing for gaming. It'd be a missed opportunity, in my opinion. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yes, if you pay $80 for it, I mean, it might be worth it to not have to download the game and still be able to have physical media.
Well, at the end of the day, too, the gaming industry is slowly, especially Microsoft and Xbox, are trying to go into the digital format as much as they can.
Yeah, but
And if you
Xbox has
take all,
also said that they don't have any plans on stopping physical media anytime soon, too. So who
yeah,
knows?
but if they're, I mean, even though they don't have no plans to stop it, that don't mean they're going to revolutionize in it or take the
Yeah,
revolutionized opportunity.
I mean, obviously they it takes more. Obviously, it takes money to make physical media, so they prefer digital because it don't cost them anything. They can put it on their store, and then
Mhm.
it's all profit. While physical, they got to take a loss and then make profit. But there's been several issues, especially here lately, with with digital media. So I mean, there's an all digital future just isn't anything that's going to be good for anybody.
No, especially for the collectors and stuff. But at the same time, like I said, if they're like the movie industry and decide to pick up this tidbit of revolutionized technology, then everybody, like you said, would be in the best interest for everybody because they'd be able to charge a little bit more for it than gamers like us would just be able to be like, okay, I'm just going to throw this in, be able to play it right away, don't have to wait anything unless I want to play it online for the update portions.
Yeah, which updates
Pop,
shouldn't take too long.
no,
Because same thing though, because right now you got to download the game, and then you got to download. Usually after you download the game, you got to download another 40 gigabyte update. So that'll speed things up quite a bit. But with the digital future too, technically you don't own your games. Ask Ubisoft. They say that if you buy digital games, you don't even own your games. They said players need to get used to not owning the games. So it's just if we have a digital future, it's just not gonna be good for gaming.
true. Especially since they can drop it at any point.
Yeah, you'll have no control over your games. They can be discontinued at any point.
All right. I lied. There was free before we got the new ones. I said a couple at the beginning, I believe. But Princess Peach Showtime reviews. I think it's been out for about a week now.
Yeah, it should have been a week yesterday, time of recording. And at that time, it was sitting at a 75 on Metacritic with 42 positive, 27 mixed, and 0 negative. But since then, I didn't get the updated Metacritic score, but I have seen a lot of praise for this game. And it's sold pretty well within a week, so I wasn't sure how this game would perform really with sales, because the last Princess Peach game was Super Princess Peach on the DS, and it was a completely different game. But I mean,
Almost 20 years
75,
ago.
yeah, it would have been almost 20 years ago, yeah. But I mean, at 75 for a spinoff with just Princess Peach, in my opinion, I don't think that's too bad.
No, I mean, definitely Nintendo didn't think it was going to be a Mario game for sure.
Right.
But I mean, I've seen a few YouTubers play it. It seems like a decent game, but IGN they rated it at a 7 out of 10. like you said, a 75 on Metacritic. I didn't think.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Bucked Up.
Bucked Up is a company founded in 2016 by two brothers on a mission to provide consumers with the highest quality supplements and fitness products to help them achieve their health and fitness goals.
Bucked Up has a ton of products ranging from energy drinks and supplements to protein bars and pre-workout, all with crazy good flavors like Rocket Pop and Cotton Candy.
You won't find a better tasting boost without the crash anywhere else.
So head on over to buckedup.com and use the code 3TG to get 20% off your order. That's the number 3TG.
Get the job done and feel great with Bucked Up energy. When you feel it, you just got bucked up.
To look up the DS version of the Princess Peach back in the day, and then it was a 7 out of 10 on GameSpot as well. And then
10 out of 10
what
on
threw me off was
Nintendo
Life
Life.
did not give it Nintendo Life did not give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 9 out of 10.
It was a 9.3 out of 10.
There you go.
But still, even Nintendo Life didn't give it a 10 out of 10 for a Nintendo title.
Yeah, that's surprising.
But they did say that it has more, unlike a Mario game where it pretty much goes equal in between adults and kids. It says Princess Peach is more geared towards children opposed to adults.
Which I kind of figured. I mean, she changes clothes, so it's geared more towards, I would say, probably little girls at that point. But, I mean, little boys can still have fun with it, too. Because she does have some other, like, ninja outfits and crap, too, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still the quality of the game anyways, not necessarily what she's even dressed like at the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, every single YouTuber I've seen has been male playing that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like it's unheard of.
Right.
Per se. But yeah, so like I said, even Nintendo Life didn't give it a 10 out of 10 though, so that makes a world of a difference to me for being a straight Nintendo title.
Yeah, but a 9.3, like what even is that? A 9.3?
I don't know. Did they cut somebody in a third this time? Like, was only somebody's toes allowed to vote on this one?
Usually people do by halves or something, but 9.3, I mean, it seems like a random rating.
I'm just saying what their website said.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I like Nintendo Life. We talk about them, but I like them. They're good guys.
Especially on Nintendo titles.
Yeah. Alex, he's a good dude. He's funny. I'll watch him.
All right. On to this week's. Free Bandai Namco games got delisted from the PlayStation stores in North America.
Now we're talking about digital future right here. Yeah, Tales of Hearts are Tales of Xillia 2 and Tales of Symphonia Chronicles were recently delisted from the PlayStation Store in North America without any previous warning from Bandai Namco. The sudden delisting also affected Bandai Namco games from the Tales of series in other areas such as Europe and Japan. Issues with game preservation have been a consistent problem in the gaming industry for years, and the situation does not seem to be improving recently. Recent examples include the 2012 first-person shooter Spec Ops: The Line being delisted from Steam back in January, but lesser-known titles disappear from online stores essentially every month. So, the only games I've heard of this was Tales of Symphonia, which was on the GameCube back in the day, and I think it was one of the only games that used the broadband adapter, which you could play online on the GameCube, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that fancy with the GameCube.
I mean, of course, I never had the broadband adapter. I just know about the GameCube. But I could be wrong. I could be thinking of a different game, but I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't heard of this series at all, but getting delisted was definitely a specification. It just so happened to get brought up, previously on this episode.
Yeah.
But it's just disheartening to see that games getting delisted in the first place, and then
without warning.
Yeah.
So people can't even go and enjoy them one more time before they get delisted. It's just random. Like, whether you're halfway through the game or what,
Yeah, because you'd lose all your progress if you was playing it. I mean, granted, yeah, you can go to an emulator, but you'd have to start all over.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know any of these games. I just knew they was getting delisted, and didn't know if anyone of our audience would be playing these games. They'd be like, "Hey, yeah, you're not going to see this game anymore."
Yeah.
So sorry for the bad news.
And also there was a Tales of Symphonia exclusive GameCube. It was like a light green color.
Okay.
Too.
I think I've seen that color GameCube before. I just didn't know it was there way to lift it.
Yep, Tales of Symphonia. But yeah, I mean, it's just can't trust all digital future.
No. Especially since they'd have a grip on everybody at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take your 67, well, $60, $120, $180, and that's free games right there. And they was all, probably $60 back in the day. And so, you pretty much have $180 down the drain now. I mean, I'm sure it's cheaper in today's time being older games, but if you bought those games, well, if you bought them back in the day, you wouldn't have to worry about having digital anyways.
Right.
So I say those games are probably $20, $30 a piece. So still price of a new game. And you lose all three of them if you bought them digitally.
Right. And I mean, I'm not saying that I've never bought a game digitally. I have. I've bought a few. Actually, in the 360, I had a bunch of discs, and then I started buying games digitally and just put them on a flash drive because I thought that was cool. I could put all my games on flash drive, plug them in, and play them. But then I thought, and I seen stuff getting taken down, and you don't have control over it. And then if I still have the disc, I can still play it, whether they take it down or not. So that's why I've always, since then, I've just stuck with physical media. I have control.
Yeah, as long as you don't have a game like Fallout 76 where the whole internet is the server for it.
Yeah.
Because when that game goes down and they ever do it, if Bethesda ever decides to delist that game, it's just gone whether it's physical copy or not because it's all online based.
Yeah.
There's no true campaign on solo.
Right. Yep. That's another issue with all online games too. So.
Yeah. All right. Sticking with Sony, Jim Ryan is set to retire.
Time of recording would have been yesterday. PlayStation saw the end of an era as Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan retired from the company on March 29th. Ryan worked for the company for over 3 decades and was promoted to the position of CEO in 2019. However, one statement from Ryan before his retirement has sparked some controversy. Ryan claimed that PlayStation 2 sold a staggering 160 million units worldwide, presenting an updated figure from the earlier reported 155 million units. Jim Ryan at the Sony PlayStation presentation at CES 2023. With or without Jim Ryan's updated figure, PlayStation 2 continues to be the best-selling gaming console. It is followed by the Nintendo DS with 154.02 million units sold and the Nintendo Switch at 139.36 million units sold. Among the three, only the Switch still remains in production, obviously. I mean, yeah, Jim Ryan, we knew he was going to retire soon. And a lot of people were happy that he's retiring because he kind of put PlayStation in some bad positions and made some stupid decisions for the company. But obviously, like anything else, some people will miss him being in that position. So just people's opinions there. What I found more interesting was he said 160 million units sold for the PlayStation 2 when it was previously thought it was 155 million. So did he just say 160 or is it still 155? Maybe he was just, I don't know. Maybe he just said that number. Yeah. But still, 5 million is kind of a big difference.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the best-selling console ever, when the Switch coming up pretty quick on that. So.
You mean Sony and Nintendo having issues?
Yeah.
That would never happen.
Nah, they've never had issues.
Huh. They didn't separate it to making of the PS1 or anything.
Yeah.
Basically, what the new system turned into the PS1.
It's going to be the Nintendo PlayStation, and then Sony made... It's going to be the Nintendo PlayStation with a dash in between play and station, and then Sony made the Sony PlayStation without a dash.
Yep. That's how you get the trademarks away.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely... I mean, the guy's been there for 30 years, so it's definitely an end of an era for PlayStation in general. Whether you love him or hate him as
Right.
a, CEO.
Yeah, and he's been in that position for going on 5 years. But,
yeah.
I mean, I guess he done some good things for the company before he was CEO. That's how he got up to that position. But just maybe that wasn't the best position for him, or maybe he just made some bad decisions.
Because he's been with Sony since '94, which would have been roughly right after the PS1 came out.
Yeah.
So he's basically been there since slightly after the beginning
of
the company. Well, on PlayStation side, obviously, not Sony, because Sony's been around a little bit longer than what, PlayStation and stuff's been around, because obviously Sony owns PlayStation.
Right.
All right. Go from one CEO to the next CEO. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer wants to have PC gaming rights on the Xbox Store.
Yep, so Microsoft's gaming chief hints that Xbox could get PC stores one day. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer has dropped some hints that PC stores like Epic Game Store and itch.io could one day arrive on Xbox consoles. In an interview with Polygon, Spencer says the console market isn't growing and that there are barriers that exist today. How can we be part of opening up that model? Asked Spencer, hinting at a potentially radical rethinking of Microsoft's Xbox console ecosystem. So that would be kind of interesting to see like Steam on an Xbox. It would be cool that you could play some Steam games on Xbox. Obviously, it'd be the ones that support controller, but there's a bunch that aren't on console that do support controller that aren't, that you couldn't get other than being on Steam or Epic Game Stores or anything. So it's a cool idea, but who knows if it'll actually happen or not. That sounds pretty tough to convince the stores to allow them to do that.
Well, I think of it on it's going to be a challenge and a bunch of paperwork and everything to make it happen. But I say his biggest argument would be, especially with the combination of like the PC Game Pass and stuff, like how you can do that. Obviously, Epic and Steam don't see stuff like that, but if he'd offer like something like that, like, oh yeah, we can send you some of our titles for free, counting Game Pass on Steam and Epic, to let us use your interface on our software. I mean, it's not impossible, it's not probable, but and obviously the guy's gone on before saying that, and same thing we said a lot too, is, no matter what type of gamer you are, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, whatever, we're all have the same thing in common at the end of the day.
We like to play games.
So that's probably his mentality on it, love each other, hate each other on the thing. We all do the same thing at the end of the day. We all enjoy playing games, whether it be what type of games we want to play or whatever. But at the same time, like, especially with like the Epic Store, it would be no different than, Epic Store being on, Android and everything else. It's not unheard of. Yeah, the Epic Store goes a little bit further in depth than just Fortnite. It has different games and everything else. As a few topics in the past, we've had literally their games of the week that was free. So it's literally one of those things to where it would benefit both parties at the end of the day, but it's just what has to happen for both parties to be able to utilize and be successful in that collaboration.
Right. So what I see happening more likely than the stores themselves being an app on the console. I see more like their games, like Steam, Epic Game Store. Some of their games going to Game Pass instead.
Okay.
I think that would make more sense for kind of both parties that way, because obviously Steam and Epic Games, they're going to get the cut somewhere, and EA and Ubisoft already get a cut from some of their games being on Game Pass, so it just kind of fall in line with the other things. If Steam got a cut for some of their games coming, or Epic Games get some, and it'd be better that way too, because it'll be on PC Game Pass and regular Game Pass, so Steam and Epic both being PC game stores, it would all fall in line with PC Game Pass, so you'd be able to play those games with a PC too, keyboard, mouse. So I think that would work better that way, instead of it just being on the console side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's just a wish. It's not anything.
Right.
Of course, we'll probably be one of the first people we hear it from whenever it does become official, if it does ever become official. But, at the end of the day, it's, still just up, and it's a wish. It's basically a wish list ad for, Phil Spencer.
Right, and, I mean, if anybody can get the thing done, it'd be him, because he's obviously made some historical moves with Xbox, buying Activision and doing different things, so I think he's kind of a sweet talker when it comes to negotiating. So if anybody can get it done, like I said, it'd be him.
You kind of have to be a CEO of a company.
Yeah, but ask Jim Ryan how he did.
That's true. But that is all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for listening or watching. You can, if you like, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Got merch on Redbubble.
Discord.
I always want to forget Discord. Discord's like the little lost child.
Yeah. Even though that's what we use to record.
Yeah. It's kind of important.
Yeah.
I think it's everything on my end.
Yep. And we just shout out to Bucked Up and Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring this episode. And the Marvel Strike Force link does work now, so if you don't have it downloaded, you can use our link in the description on everything, YouTube, all of our podcasts that you listen to us on. Use that link, go download it, and use code MAXPOOL for some exclusive gifts to the event. So,
all right, later, guys.
Catch you guys next week.